Yokoyama compares other fighting games with flashy special moves to professional wrestling and describes Virtua Fighter being more like K1. Yo, the shots! Sup, nerd? So throughout my entire content creation career, I have never had my speculations responded to this fast, like ever. So as of this recording, I literally just dropped a Virtua Fighter speculation video just yesterday. I don't know why yesterday's back there, but don't worry about that. But then earlier today, a new interview dropped on Famitsu from RGG director Masayoshi Yokoyama and the director of the new Virtua Fighter, Rishiro Yamada. Now, before I actually started the recording, I did see a few things, which prompted me to actually start recording. And the few things that I've seen are literally responses to what I was talking about in that Virtua Fighter video. So let's switch over and actually read this whole thing, because this gets really interesting. The big gap in releases after Virtua Fighter 5 were due to various circumstances, one of which being where they could take the series and its place in the market. It took y'all 20 years to figure that shit out. Well, nearly 20 years? Lots of fire-ups at Sega are genuine fans of Virtua Fighter. Motherfucker, I can't tell. Let me stop. They were probably in that office writing all types of proposals for like years until they finally got approved to do this whole thing. But then again, we're in this whole new generation of Sega, which I love right now. So they probably got the okay around that time where they started doing this whole restructure and everything. The producer of the game, Yamada, was hand-selected by RGG studio head Yokoyama for his ideas of making BF is insane, for making VF innovative rather than strictly following current fighting game trends. This is a good sign. Maybe we won't get those forced 50-50 interactions, the one that y'all love so damn much. I say that so sarcastic, it's not even funny, because I see everything y'all be saying on Twitter, I know. But nah, seriously, that really is a good sign. I mean, they're trying to do their own thing rather than just copy what the other fighting games are doing right now. I'm with it, as long as it's good, but I'm with it. They're gonna lean into the realism aspect of Virtua Fighter with the story. They specifically noted how Virtua Fighter is a game about normal, albeit with human strength, people fighting. What did we just say about that realism yesterday? So yeah, they basically want to keep it rooted in the realism, and I'm with it. That's basically what Virtua Fighter's identity is. Real people fighting. Well, real people fighting. What superhuman strength? If Kazuma Kiryu throws a fireball, it's no longer realistic, but fantasy. But Tetsuzako can portray a realistic drama. So are y'all giving just like subtle hints or not so subtle hints that Kazuma Kiryu's gonna appear in Virtua Fighter like we've been speculating for the past however long now? Did y'all just like, did y'all leak? But no, as we can see here, we're not gonna have any fireball characters. We're not gonna have to sidestep fireballs like we did in Tekken 7. RGG will bring things that make them unique that other fighting games don't have. It could be drama, direction, or the ability to create a whole town. Yo, they about to give them a whole Yakuza storyline, or not a Yakuza storyline, but a Yakuza type story mode. You're gonna be using Akira. He's gonna be walking through Kamurocho. He's not gonna be walking through Kamurocho. It's gonna be a beat 'em up. If it's gonna be a beat 'em up, I am so with it. I will be playing that game for who knows how long. Nah, dead ass. Imagine the Yakuza style Virtua Fighter. That'd actually be sick. Yamada personally researched old interviews with Yu Suzuki to understand the essence of Virtua Fighter. My man is getting the sauce. He's going to the source. He's getting the sauce. He like, all right, we're gonna keep this as Virtua Fighter as possible. We're gonna keep this true to the source. They note the heavy kung fu influence on Virtua Fighter. Gina, play the motherfucking clip. Now, one thing about Virtua Fighter is that there are no real gimmicks, no fireballs, no crazy enhancements, no crazy comeback mechanics, no super moves, just pure hands. It's really like watching an old martial arts film, and it looked like they really started leaning more into that aspect with this game. Know what we be talking about? We've been here for like 30 years now. Shit. Yokoyama knows that a lot of Sega Pro tags have their bangs up, meaning their hair, like, yeah. Akira, Kiryu, Ryo Hazuki. So, why are we talking about so many non-Virtua Fighter characters in Virtua Fighter games? Yo, can you imagine both Kiryu and Ryo from Shenmue, both in the base roster of Yakuza, like not even DLC? That'd be actually kind of wild. I don't think it's gonna happen like that, but that'd be wild. Yamada says reading your opponent's moves and execution will still be part of high-level play. Of course, that's how fighting games are meant to be played. You gotta know what your opponent is doing and act accordingly. You gotta make those snap decisions and all that. I can't snap properly. Oh, never mind. They believe Virtua Fighter at its core is a simple game, but understand the reputation it's received for being difficult. I'm so glad y'all know that. One example being that because there's no special moves, it's difficult for new players to understand what to do first. The dev team wants to do more to ease the player and address the hurdles, so that sounds like they're gonna have some type of elaborate tutorial in comparison to the older games. But yeah, the Virtua Fighter 5 tutorial, it really didn't teach you much. It was just like the basic stuff, and that was about it. Yamada directly admits that the lack of character motivations being explained in the games were a huge problem, and they're going to address that, heavily implying a story mode being present. This is honestly a response to when I said, I hope to the Most High that we get some type of story or lore for these characters, because there's barely ever a story in the Virtua Fighter games. Yokoyama compares other fighting games with flashy special moves to professional wrestling and describes Virtua Fighter being more like K1. Yo, the shots! Wait a minute, K1 is a martial arts tournament. Other fighting games being like WWE is insane. My man said all of y'all are scripted and fake. We got the real shit over here. Come to the VF side. We got that real shit. Let me shut my ass off. It's not about changing the rules or making the screen more flashy. Yeah, that was the main thing I saw. It's not about changing the rules or making the screen more flashy. It's about amplifying the appeal of the matches while keeping them plain and serious. That's what I think we need to do from my perspective, Yokoyama. Okay, so he don't want to have a bunch of crazy shit going on while the match is going. He really wanted to just keep it like pure fighting. Like I was saying, the appeal of Virtua Fighter is the actual fighting itself and the movement and the fighting styles and, you know, the footsies and all of that stuff. So yeah, I guess he wanted to keep it as pure as possible, or as Wooly said, keep Virtua Fighter boring. The new Virtua Fighter is being developed as a home release first and foremost. There are no discussions of bringing the game to arcades at this time. That is exactly what Bamco did with Tekken 8. They didn't do an arcade release first like they normally do. They just ported it straight to consoles and PC. I guess they said, okay, that's what a market is. The market is for home consoles, so we're just gonna focus solely on that rather than doing an arcade release and then port the arcade version to home releases and all of that. Yokoyama acknowledges that Virtua Fighter is known but not played by the younger generation. What was I saying about them 40-year-olds? I say as I'm damn near 40. You ain't hear that from me though, shut up. Their goal is to make Virtua Fighter appeal to those people but also satisfy the returning players. Specifically knows that if they wanted to forego appealing to older players, they would have dropped the name Virtua Fighter. Whoa. But yeah, it's like I was saying, a lot of the younger generation don't really rock with Virtua Fighter like that. Not saying all of y'all, because as y'all showed me in the comments of the previous video, a lot of y'all do rock with Virtua Fighter and y'all like the direction that this is going. But damn, us old heads really just got called out by the producer. Yamada says the teaser trailer was made quickly and efficiently. Quickly? So you mean to tell me if y'all would have took y'all time on it, we could have seen more? Holy hell. I mean, yeah, it did the job. It did its job, I guess. Talking about, I guess, that trailer has 1 million views now, so it definitely did do its job. They announced their 2 projects before the release of Pirates in Hawaii, that's the next Yakuza game, to impress the industry with how many projects they're working on. Oh, so they had to meet a quota, basically. They had to let the shareholders know, like, hey, look, we have these projects coming, so give us money. Controllers are being developed with console controllers in mind. I guess controls are being developed with console controllers in mind. States that they want a control scheme that is simple and that veteran players can be familiar with. But say that, what do you mean? How much more simple can it get? It's just kick, punch, block. It's parappa-rapper. I need to stop yelling, my window open. But say that Virtua Fighter doesn't have to only be 3 buttons. Wait, what is you doing? What y'all got going on here? Yo, can you imagine after all this time, after 30 years, they actually finally change up the button scheme for Virtua Fighter? Like, you get 2 punches and 2 kicks now? Like, Tekken? Can you imagine? Nah, for real, that would be wild as hell, because that literally changes how special moves will have to be done for the returning characters. Some stages will have traditional ring outs, some won't. Some will have ring outs, but with specific conditions. The teaser trailer was based on this idea. That's some real about Fatal Fury shit right there. Like, you gotta knock the opponent into the wall like a good amount of times, and then the wall gotta break. but then after the wall breaks, then you can actually ring out the opponent or some shit like that. You would have to fight harder for that ring out. Good God. But then imagine you getting your ass whooped on the wall so bad that the wall breaks behind you and then you get rung out like in one combo. The location of the trailer is not Japan. Not surprised. Won't comment on the potential of there being more than one-on-one battles. Ooh, somebody asked about team battles or some shit like that. Or some tag battles. Nah. Virtua Fighter tag would be some shit, fam. The time setting they're keeping a secret for now, so we don't know whether or not it's taking place years after Virtua Fighter 5, which more than likely it is, or if it's actually a prequel, which it doesn't look like it just because of how much older Akira looks. Confirmed Stella is not Sarah Bryant, and it will be easily understood when the time comes, says veteran players will not be disappointed. I mean, I guess that means our fighting style is still gonna be the same, but it's just not gonna be Sarah, but Stella just looks exactly like Sarah. And I think this also kind of confirms that it's going to be years after Virtua Fighter 5, because you know she's going to be related to Sarah somehow. Watch it ends up being like Sarah's niece. It's going to be Jackie's daughter or some shit. It looks like there will be a mix of new and old characters. What will happen to Lau and Shun? I hope you will look forward to it. Shun's gonna drink himself to death. My man gave himself liver poison from all that goddamn drinking in every fucking match. And he was old. His body can't take it anymore. Let me stop. You know they're probably still gonna be there. Wasn't Lau like really sick too? Wasn't that part of his story? Which is why his skin's so damn gray. But nah, can you imagine if they actually did get killed off and they just had like students or predecessors or some shit like that? Won't comment on post-launch support. Of course not. Look how early it is. They say it's not being considered, but LOL, come on, RGG. What you mean there's no post-launch support not being considered? So y'all just gonna put the game out and just not do nothing? Did y'all not see what happened with DNF? Like, yo, I don't even think they planned on their DLC, and that shit was a disaster for that game. Yokoyama says if they were to do a season support, it would be unique compared to how other fighting games are doing it. Innovation. So I think they already got something in mind. Talking about some if they do season support. Well, yeah, if they do season support or season passes or something like that, it would be different. So they basically have an idea of how they want to do it already. It's just a matter of them actually doing it. Yamada says he had meetings with Yu Suzuki and they shared a lot of ideas on where to take the series next. Of course, you got to get the OG in there to get his take and, you know, ask him how things are supposed to be done and all that good stuff to keep Virtua Fighter like we explained earlier. Reiterates that the new Virtua Fighter will be a new direction for the series. Now that can be really good or really bad depending on what direction they take. Like so far it looks good on the teaser, but that's just a teaser. We still don't really know how things are gonna work and how things are gonna be done and all that good stuff. But then there's also the leak, which we're not gonna talk about, but it doesn't seem like, from what we read in this interview, it doesn't seem like what we saw is what a lot of people think. So it just might have been people overreacting. Might have been a bunch of cat. Might not even been real. Yeah, they basically just addressed a lot of the things I said in that video within less than 24 hours, which is crazy to me. But that's pretty much all I have for this one. So let me know what y'all think of this interview and let me know what got y'all most interested from this interview, because this was a good one. Yeah, can't wait to see what's happening next. But if you haven't seen the last video, you know, the prequel to this video, yeah, I suggest you check that out because it's pretty good. Put a lot of time into that one, kinda. But anyway, remember to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And I will catch y'all next time. Later.